What's up? I am Awesome7478, Albert Crow, Chip Catalano, my paisano. What's up? Can you guys hear me okay? Microphone working? Yes, it is. Okay. That was a song called Moonshine Town from the YouTube audio library. Something different for this evening. Ubuntu Mate is pretty nice. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I love it. There's something to be said for simplicity, something that works out of the box. Sometimes the best looking is not necessarily the best, and I think Ubuntu Mate looks just fine. It may not be all that jazzed up as some other slick looking distros like Plasma and Schmazma and all that, but Ubuntu Mate just works. So that's why I use it. The Wild Wild West music. Yeah. I guess so. Yeah, it's just something I picked up off the library at random. And I pick, what do I pick? I'll pick Silent Partner and a few others, but I thought this was kind of different. Sounds kind of cool. The mic's okay? All right. Awesome. Okay, so we'll wait a few minutes. Tonight we'll take a listen. Edit to listen to the latest Ubuntu podcast. They discuss the latest Ubuntu 17.10. They give it some love most of the time. And I'll share it with you. And give me your thoughts. Let's see here. Yeah, it's the latest Ubuntu podcast, season 10, episode 34. Don't ask me about this trashy, disgusting can. I don't know where they get these titles. But they do talk about the Ubuntu 17.10. Alan Pope, I've spoken to before, a fine gentleman. I think I've spoken to 2 or 3 times. Martin Wimpress. If you guys like Ubuntu Mate, give Martin Wimpress some love. It's because of him. It's because of Martin we have Ubuntu Mate. Yes, Linux Mint is ending the KDE variant. Not exactly sure why. Look, I like Linux Mint Mate, XFCE. Those are my 2 personal favorites. Cinnamon is okay. Debian they use, but it's not for beginners. Yeah. Kind of blows your mind. I'm not on the using Mint. I have Mint Mate. That's on my other desktop to the left of me. That's next to my big screen TV. That's my main computer, so I still have Linux Mint Mate. It's perfectly fine. But I decided to no, Chip. I'm running this on. It is not a VBox. No, I decided to test Ubuntu Mate as a full install in my Lenovo desktop. 6-year-old. Fred Flintstone dinosaur computer. Hey, Lenovo's are freaking awesome. They're great for running Linux, great for dual booting. They're super reliable. You know what? The only bad thing about this computer just has only 4 gigs of RAM, but it runs. It's fast enough. It works, and I kept it. So if you're in the market for a computer, check out Lenovo's. They're awesome. Check out the links below in the show notes. I have an Amazon link if you would like to support the channel, and there's a Patreon link. And if you would like to support the channel, go to that. So welcome to another live event, broadcasting coast to coast, continent to continent, planet to planet, who knows. So welcome back, and welcome to the replay if you are watching this later. And I'll have edited audio downloads of this on the Patreon page if you can support the channel through Patreon. So please do. We have Rose. Hi, Rose. Rose is from Canada. How are you? Okay, so we'll get started here in a few minutes. And like I said, we'll take a abbreviated listen to the latest Ubuntu podcast. We'll have them talking about their thoughts on the latest Ubuntu 17.10 with GNOME desktop. I think what I'll do, I'll play that podcast first. You guys listen. We'll listen to it together. And then I'll give you my thoughts, give me your thoughts, and I think that's probably a fair way to do this. So you guys know the GNOME desktop is not my favorite, at least not for beginners. I like Pop OS when it comes to GNOME. There's something about Pop OS. It's a silly name. It's got a horrendous default wallpaper. but I like it. I think I like it because it runs pretty smooth inside a virtual machine. See, the lighting's not quite. Oh well. I tried to use Cheese app, webcam app in Ubuntu Mate. It does not work. So I'm running GUVC with my Logitech cam. So I definitely recommend Logitech webcams. They're awesome. So check that out. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? All right, so what I did, the Ubuntu podcast team, they do a 30-minute podcast or so. So I cut it down, looks like, to about 18 minutes. We're just going to listen to the part of where they talk about Ubuntu 17.10 with Gnome. Now I'm looking to my left because I'm watching the Dallas Cowboys game. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Go Cowboys. Surprisingly a close game, but anyway. So we'll take a listen to this. I will mute my mic. So we'll listen to this together, about 18 minutes. Hopefully it's not that long and that boring. And then we'll go from there. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of controversy about Ubuntu switching. It is historic. They had Unity since 2011, and they have switched, for better or for worse. Some people ask maybe they should have gone to the KDE desktop. Maybe, I don't know. I think they should have gone to the Mate desktop. What can I say? But those are my quick thoughts about this. So we'll take a listen to this. And we'll see what you guys think. So I'm going to pause my mic, and I will play the podcast. Feel free to drop in some notes in the. Feel free to chat it up, as it were, in the chat room, on the chat here as you listen to this, and we'll just go from there. Okay, so I'm going to mute my mic.
That 17.10 has been released. Although, as we record this, it hasn't quite been released. So we've been playing with the beta version, and we're going to share some of our thoughts.
Yes.
So, first up, 17.10, as most of you will know by now, is the first release which doesn't have Unity as the desktop, since Unity became the default desktop back in the dim and distant past. So we now have a GNOME 3 based desktop. So how's it looking?
Well, to clarify, Unity came in, 7 years ago? 10.10 was the first release where it was default. So that's like 7 years of Unity, and now suddenly it's GNOME Shell. And they've had, the team who've been working on this have had since about April this year, when it was announced that's what we were going to do to get this done. I think they've done an amazing job the one cycle they've had to completely throw out the desktop we've been running for 7 years and put in GNOME Shell tailored for an Ubuntu audience. I think they've done amazing work to get that done.
It has been a fast turnaround, and at first glance you wouldn't necessarily know that it's changed that much under the hood. I'd say, in terms of, you look at the desktop, you've got things where you'd expect them to be. It's still got, the apps you'd expect to have. The keys do more or less what they did before.
Yeah, there are some notable changes, like the big friendly button that used to be in the top left, where you used to open the dash in Unity, is now an applications button in the bottom left-hand corner. And I've seen some people complain about that for a number of reasons, like the fact that it's moved is one thing, but I'm sure some people click it. I'm sure some people press the super key in order to launch that, and that hasn't, like, the Windows key hasn't moved. That's still in the same place on your keyboard. but I know some people have noted that actually now with GNOME Shell and that extension that provides that launcher on the left-hand side, it's actually got an option to move it, which Unity didn't have until very late in its life, the ability to move that. And it has the ability to move it to the bottom and to the right-hand side of the screen. But when you move it to the bottom, the applications button is on the right-hand side. So, it basically takes the launcher that's along the left-hand side and turns it through 90 degrees, puts it at the bottom. You end up with an application button in the bottom right-hand corner. I think that's something possibly overlooked at some point, but that's kind of why we're doing this in 1710 and not just throwing this out in the LTS that's got to be supported for 5 years. It makes total sense to iron these things out in this pre-LTS release.
Yeah. I'll tell you another thing I noticed about the launcher is that you can have it dodge windows, which was taken away in Unity.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So I'm very happy to see that back. I hope it doesn't go.
There was a few people who were really angry about the fact that we removed, it was called IntelliHide. We removed IntelliHide years ago, and people were quite grumpy about that. And there were even people who made PPAs that had it patched back in again. And it was a design decision at the time, and it was design led, so not a lot we could do about that. But that's all in the past. But now that it's back, those people who were grumpy that it went away, hopefully will be pleased that it's come back.
So on that point, Mark, you've obviously you've used other desktops. You used Unity and settled on that and were quite happy with it. How have you found that transition from Unity to the GNOME 3 based Ubuntu desktop experience?
I should probably say I haven't really transitioned. I've played with it to get my head around what's going on with it. So I've not actually sat and worked with it for any significant amount of time. But I've spotted a few things that I like and a few things I don't like.
What do you like? Alternate between like and dislike.
Okay, so I like the familiar layout. I don't like the all-in-one kind of indicator thing in the top right. That's a bit weird. You don't have individual indicators. You have 3 icons and then you click on them and you get a big menu with all sorts of stuff in. Not so keen on that. As I mentioned, I like the launcher's got whatever we call it, IntelliHide. I think it's called something like Smart.
Is that an on by default option, by the way?
No, that was I turned that on. I don't think that was on by default. That was in the options.
It's just a supported option.
Yeah. I don't like the whole thing where it puts buttons in the title bar of the window.
Okay.
Like the problem with that I find is I don't know, because you if you've got a form, you've got some controls in the window and you've got some controls in the title bar, and there doesn't really seem to be any particular expectation as to when it'll put stuff in the top and which things it'll put in the top. So you just find yourself sort of, I sat there for a while working out where an apply button was in the settings dialog, and then for some reason it was in the top of the window.
Yeah. So a few of those, like, interestingly, that you mentioned the notification thing where you don't like the fact that there's only one big panel that pops out when you press in the top right hand area of the screen.
Yeah.
I actually prefer that because
Really?
I find on Unity some of those things are hard targets to hit. Like, to hit the sound thing, you have to go in between the battery one and the clock one, for example, or to hit the network one, you got to go in between the Bluetooth one and the messaging one or whatever. Whereas on GNOME Shell, I quite like that I just throw my mouse into that area, hit vaguely somewhere there, and a thing pops out. It does mean that there's more clicks to get to your target.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, connecting to a wireless network you've never been on before is a surprisingly high number of clicks from an empty desktop. Whereas it's fewer on the traditional indicators where you just click the indicator, click the network and type your password, press enter, and you're done. With GNOME Shell, you click and then click to expand and then click connect, and then a box pops up and then you click the network, then you press a button, then you type your password, then you press a button. That feels like an extremely longer way to get to connect to a network. But it's one of those things you don't necessarily do very often. If that was how to shut down your computer was 6 clicks, I'd be more annoyed about it than I really am.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the thing that I find interesting is that you mentioned the thing on the right. I'm more annoyed about the fact that the clock's in the middle.
Oh, that does annoy me as well.
Oh, okay, good.
I haven't finished my list.
Oh, sorry. I thought you breathed, so I jumped in. But the clock being in the middle and notifications for applications being in the middle is jarring. But I agree with you about the buttons in the toolbar. But I think that's one of those things. Having used Unity for 7 years, it's one of those things that I'm just ingrained. I'm pretty sure I'd get used to it. But right now, I'm finding it really jarring that my eyes naturally go down to the bottom of a thing when I'm filling it in, and I expect there to be a button at the bottom to apply or save or dismiss. But actually, I have to move my eyes back up to the title of the window in order to dismiss or apply or close. Right. And that is a bit jarring. And I think that, I mean, that's an upstream decision. That's, there's nothing we can do about that. But, and this is like for many,
there's nothing you're going to do about that.
Well, we're shipping Gnome. We're not shipping like Gnome with 1,000 patches that move all the buttons around and make it break every time there's an update. That would be foolhardy, right? But
okay,
it's one of those things where if you've been using GNOME Shell for the last 7 years that I've been using Unity, it's probably not a problem. But for those of us who are doing that leap, this is like, a lot of people have complained that, or some people on the internet have complained that we're shipping Ubuntu 17.10 with GNOME Shell that's been tweaked, and for good reason. Because there are people like me who've been using Unity for 7 years, come to this and are like, whoa, who moved my cheese? And everything's in a different place, and it's all really alarming. It may be smoother, when we come to 1804 and some of these things can be fixed. I don't know.
So what else have you got on your list, Mark?
Another thing I liked are, I think we touched on it earlier, the main keyboard shortcuts. A lot of them do the same sort of thing. So if you tap the super key and then start typing, it will search for applications to launch. Or it'll search. Actually, I'm not sure. It's slightly different if you press super and A, and if you just press super, and I wasn't quite sure what super was doing differently. But either way, you can just hit it and start typing, and you can launch stuff. I liked that. I don't think there's a HUD anymore, is there? No, I don't like that. I like the HUD a lot. That's what got me using Unity.
Yeah, I love the HUD. I miss that sorely.
Yeah.
Do either of you miss the global menus?
Yes.
I miss menus in general.
Yes. In fact, yeah, combined with the so yeah, if you have a window title which has these buttons in, then you get a fat window title. And if you've got the window maximized and the panel not auto hiding, then you've got the panel at the top and then a fat title bar which has quite a lot of empty space in it, which could be used
for Windicators. That's what you need. Windicators.
It all feels quite boxed in,
right?
Which I feel like Unity made better use of space in that regard.
I think I agree with you that Unity made really, really good use of space. Like the fact that maximized applications, you got an awful lot more screen real estate available to you. That's what it feels like, but technically it's only a few extra pixels vertically that you got, right? I feel for you when you say fat title bar, because it feels really big and fat and chunky, and it looks like it takes up loads and loads of space. But if you actually calculate it, it's a few extra pixels, and it's not actually that much. But because it's so high and wide, it looks bigger than it really is, I think. Because you've got this wide expanse of open space in the middle between the buttons.
Yeah. It
makes you feel like, oh my God, there's a giant space there. I could fit a game of Tetris in there or something. Or Defender or something wide I could fit in that space. It's bizarre. I think that is somewhat perception, and again something you get used to, I guess. I don't know. It's early days for me. I feel like a GNOME virgin, trying out these things and feeling like anything I complain about, actually everyone else complained about 5 years ago, and it's second nature now. Maybe not. I
think time will tell.
Yeah.
I might. One other thing I do want to do is give Ubuntu a go and see how I get on with that these days.
How long is it since you last used Ubuntu in anger?
I think I switched to Unity for 12.04.
Wow, so quite a lot of change there as well then.
Yeah.
So it's not the KDE you left behind.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, that'll be interesting. So if you do that, that'll be an interesting thing to hear about your experiences on that as well.
Yeah.
So one of the other new things in 17.10 is the fact that it ships with Wayland by default. Did you notice this?
No.
That's good then.
Yes.
So the interestingly, the live session uses X, not Wayland.
Oh, okay. I was running the live session.
Right, so you didn't notice because you weren't using Wayland.
What would I have noticed, though?
Well, that's a good question.
Hopefully not a lot.
In theory, not much, because once you install and you log in, the default is Wayland. There are circumstances where the default won't be Wayland. Like if you happen to have, I think if you install the binary NVIDIA drivers, I don't think you get Wayland by default. I think it knows that won't work, so it switches you to X. Like you get fallback, and it just logs you into an X session. You can override it on the logon screen. You can say, no, I want Ubuntu on Xorg instead of stock Ubuntu, which is Wayland. And I've noticed a few like graphical glitches under Wayland on Intel, but not like significantly, oh crikey, this doesn't work and it explodes in 50 colors. It just seems to work okay. If you say put Steam on there and install an OpenGL game, does that all go fine under Wayland, or does it do some X on Wayland thing, or does it just blow up? So, for example, Firefox doesn't work under Wayland. It uses X Wayland.
Right, but is that all fairly seamless?
You wouldn't know, really.
Okay,
like,
brilliant.
if you log into a Wayland session and you open Firefox, other than, like I said, on my machine, I get graphical glitches, and I need to file a bug about that. But on, like, in theory, you just open Firefox and just use it, and it doesn't.
Right.
The thing I did notice is rendering issues around the edge of the window and a bit of flickering.
Right.
But nothing like, it doesn't work. I didn't get any applications. There were earlier in the development cycle, the PDF viewer events just didn't load. Like you'd click it and no window would appear. But that was earlier in the development cycle and that's been fixed. So, we've uncovered those kind of bugs. It may well be that there are applications in the archive and third-party applications that people install that don't work. And we certainly need to iron out those issues before 1804. So I'm super keen for people to try out 1710, because if you don't and 1804 rolls around and your stuff doesn't work, and we didn't know about it, then there's not a lot we can do. So it's important that people do try it out.
Yeah. Now, we've spoken a lot there about sort of the look and feel and the new user interface, and we've really only scratched the surface because this is sort of a wholesale changeover. But there's also been a number of changes under the hood as well, sort of the unseen stuff that are improving things. So it doesn't sound like, Mark, you've done much with peripherals and things. So
no, not yet.
Alan, are you aware of any of the under the hood changes, and have you seen the benefit of any of those changes?
So apparently we have one of the things I definitely have seen the benefit of is we now have the newer network manager, which allows you to log into captive portals more easily.
Oh, right.
So if you're in like a coffee shop or a hotel, when you use network manager and you click on the network, and it's once you're connected, if the network manager detects that you're on a captive portal, where you have to sign in with your hotel room or the coffee shop has a code or something, you'll get a browser pop up rather than you having to go and load the browser and open a page and then, get redirected and all that. It actually pops up a window, a browser window. It's not a browser. It's like a WebGTK thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And that allows you to sign in. That goes away, and you're on captive portal because the little network manager icon has a question mark in it. So you've got a good indication that your network is in a dodgy state, like you're on a hotel Wi-Fi. It works really well. That and the other one was Bluetooth. Apparently, is much better. But I threw away all my Bluetooth devices because they all suck. So they
work now.
Well, I'll have to go and dig them out the recycle bin.
So, and the other big change under the hood is there's a fully accelerated video decoding pipeline. If you're watching video, that's all hardware accelerated now.
Ooh.
Right,
okay,
so I
don't really
think
know what that means.
Well, it means that if you're watching Netflix or playing back videos in the video players, it uses the video decoding capabilities on your CPU, GPU, whatever, rather than doing it all in the CPU.
Okay, can you guys still see the stream? Ben, you said the stream ended, but it seems okay on my end. It was your Chromecast. Okay, all right, cool. Okay, so there was only a few seconds left at S. I just cut it short, but that was the latest Ubuntu podcast, the weekly podcast from the Ubuntu team. One of the few podcasts I listened to, that one and Mintcast, and Destination Linux. I took some notes. I'll go first, and you guys can post your comments on what you heard and what you thought of what you heard. They said not much has changed. I don't know what they smoke in the UK, but I think a lot has changed. They mentioned about the super key. The super key is nice. There was some talk about the IntelliHide, the dodge window feature. I guess that's nice to have. Someone didn't like the all-in-one indicators. I don't like that either. I like it separated. Here lies in Ubuntu Mate. So yeah, I don't like the all-in-one indicators. Alan Popey didn't like the clock in the middle. I don't know what's the big deal with that. No more HUD. Heads-up display. Don't miss that. Global menus. They're nice. There was talk about a fat title bar. I don't know. No big deal there. Wayland. What will you notice? They said not much. Well, there you go. You know, of all the things that was mentioned in this podcast, the number one thing that should have been mentioned that was not was tweaking the 1710 distribution to make it more user-friendly. And how do you do that? With GNOME tweaks and with GNOME extensions. And the fact is, at least for this version of 1710, maybe in an LTS, it seems like half of the extensions don't work. And that pretty much kills it for beginners, in my opinion. Now, somebody said, well, Toss, a beginner will not know anything about GNOME extensions. They do now, and they do before, because I've been talking about this for quite a while about the GNOME desktop and using GNOME extensions. It's disappointing. You know, I like Pop! OS with GNOME. There's something about Pop! OS with GNOME that's simple, it's fast, out of the box, even in a virtual machine. I downloaded, I don't know, 6 extensions, half don't work, and it's very disappointing. The core system is okay, but this is why I like the Mate desktop. There is no tweaking necessary. It just freaking works out of the box. I mean, you have the panel at the bottom. I have this dock at the bottom. I can add applets, little shortcuts at the top, such as the weather monitor to the left, the system monitor. I mean, it's all there. I don't have to install there I don't have to go to the GNOME extensions website and spend a lot of time tweaking and then find out that half the tweaks don't even freaking work. But that being said, 1710 looks cool. The core system is fine. It seems stable enough. It's just not for beginners, in my opinion. Of course, this channel, this Total OS Today channel, was built well, for beginners. Because let's face it, we were all beginners. I was a beginner to Linux 10 years ago. Actually, going on 11 years now. I was a beginner to Linux, and Ubuntu was my first date with Linux. And that's why I'm here. But you heard what they have to say. What do you guys think? Was the Ubuntu podcast crew on the right track about their discussions, pros and cons about the latest Ubuntu 17.10? I'll probably keep Pop! OS inside a virtual box for a while and see how many tweaks I can get to work, how many GNOME extensions I can get to work. But it is disappointing. You know, imagine if I installed Ubuntu Mate and none of the applets worked, or only half of the applets worked. It would be very disappointing. Now, this may change in an LTS release. I don't know. But so far, for me, the Mate desktop is the way to go for beginners and beyond. So those are my thoughts. I just scrolled down some notes here on a notepad. So, but I do want to give credit to the team at the Ubuntu podcast. They do the weekly podcast, Ubuntu podcast. It's nice to listen to. So I think they gave some honest thoughts. What do you guys think? Let's see. Have you sent a message to Martin WinPress about the problem with extension? I haven't because Rose, Martin WinPress is the developer of the Ubuntu Mate desktop, not the Ubuntu GNOME. So I could send him a message, but really, probably, I don't know. My guess is, Rose, why should he really care? Because he's the maintainer of the Mate desktop and not the Ubuntu Gnome desktop environment. I should do another podcast. I did one last year, maybe a year before. Terrific guy, fun to talk to. The Ubuntu Mate desktop was created for his wife. That's why I call the Ubuntu Mate desktop the romantic OS. But I should contact him, see if he wants to have another chat. Maybe an update on the progress of Ubuntu Mate. But those are my thoughts on the Ubuntu Gnome desktop. Let's see, I didn't hear the podcast. I didn't get up in time to hear it. Toss. Okay, just replay this, Ben. And you could also go to the Ubuntu podcast website. But when I'm done with this, I keep these videos on YouTube. Very seldom I do any editing. The only editing I do is for the audio portion, or I'll take this, transcode it into an edited audio, download on the Patreon page for those of you who want to support the channel through Patreon. Otherwise, as far as this goes, just either replay this if you want to. You don't have to, since I'm not doing most of the talking for this one, or just go to the Ubuntu podcast. And I think you have to fast forward it about 5 minutes to get to the core topic of that specific podcast. But those are my thoughts on Ubuntu 17.10 with the GNOME desktop. It's not something I will use. I'll probably keep Pop! OS with GNOME in my virtual machine because it runs pretty zippy. And that was impressive. It is a vanilla type, plain Jane type of GNOME desktop, and maybe that's the reason why it runs pretty fast. So to be fair, I'll keep that in there. And GNOME is, or Pop! OS is a Denver-based, it's from Denver-based, the System 76, and they created the GNOME or the Pop! OS distribution. So, I'll give a thumbs up to a USA company. But as far as this goes, cannot recommend it for beginners. Maybe in the next release that's due six months from now. It's called Bionic Beaver. That makes me laugh. So we'll see what happens with the LTS release. But for this one, like I said, it is historic. I really enjoyed Unity. I got used to it. I had it on 2 machines, but not anymore. That may change in the future, I don't know. But that's the beauty of Linux. There are choices. And right now I'm sticking with Ubuntu Mate, and no, I have not given up on my Linux Mate desktop. That is on my other machine next to my big screen TV. But the Mate desktop, again, there's something to be said for simplicity. And it just works. The only app out of the box that doesn't work is Cheese. It's the webcam app, but it's not that big of a deal. I just downloaded and used the GUVC View, and that works fine. So I don't know. What do you guys think? As far as my thoughts, I'm done talking about this one. I'll stick around a few more minutes if you have any thoughts, pros and cons about the latest Ubuntu. Are they going in the right direction? Do you think maybe it's an experiment? That's up for you to decide. But I am sticking with the Mate desktop. Loving it. It works. Martin Wimpress, the lead developer, 2 thumbs up. Love it. And it's because of distributions like Ubuntu Mate, that I find myself using Linux more than I use Windows. And that's a bad thing for Windows, because when I log into Windows, I have to remind myself to obviously do the updates, security patches, and I've almost forgotten how to use Windows 10. Not really, but anyway, that's saying a lot. 10 years ago, I couldn't say that. I couldn't say that Linux could almost replace Windows. But now it almost can. Almost. It ain't quite there. But distributions like Ubuntu Mate, it comes pretty close. So those are my thoughts on the latest Ubuntu podcast, talking about Ubuntu 17.10. So Ben, you will go with Ubuntu Mate. Sick of those source type distros. No more Gentoo. If you have time to kill and you like to tweak, go for it. But you know, my tweaking days, my experimental days, I mean, I experiment a little bit, but I'm not a distro hopper anymore. It's just so time consuming, and it seems like I go around in circles. I web browser hop because there's no installing, or not the same type of installation. Let's see. Should I schedule your live event Friday or Sunday at a particular time? I didn't know in the comment. I probably should have a weekly schedule. It might make it easier for you guys and get more people to jump online. I do these at random times to make it easier for people living outside of my time zone. I guess there is no perfect time zone. But I could probably schedule these every Sunday evening, you know, between what, 6 and 9 or 7 to 9 or something like that. Especially now it's winter time, but you know it gets dark around right before 6. I'm not outside walking or cutting grass or anything, but I probably should do that to make it easier. Ben says you are bored of distro hopping, and I'm going with Ubuntu Mate. That's that. So yeah, good choice. Tudo Electro. Hi. If you are, I think you are the first time on a live stream. If you are, welcome. Everybody say hello to Tudo. Why don't I like Gnome? Generally, it's resource hungry or resource heavy, and it takes a lot of tweaking, relatively speaking, to make it user friendly through the use of extensions, and half of those don't work, and it's very frustrating. Tudo Electric says you feel like Mate is so old looking. I don't see progress. Yeah, Tudo, haha. It's your first time. Cool. You watch my videos. Thank you. Everybody say hello to Tudo Electro. Tudo, if I may ask you, where are you from? Are you from the States or from overseas? Is Mate old looking? Don't judge a book by its cover, right, Tudo? Okay, all right. So this might remind you of, I don't know, Windows XP. Is it old looking? Sure, but this can be tweaked to make it look any way that you want to. The point is, it works out of the box. You don't have to install 10 extensions to make it work or to make it user friendly out of the box. It just works. So is it old looking? So change it. There's 6 or 7 different panel customizations in Ubuntu Mate if you want to make it more modern looking. But the point is, I go with the 3 S's for Linux. The first S is stability. The second S is speed. The third S is special looks, if it has any special looks. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Ryan Cutforth. Hello, Ryan. If this is your first time, say hello. Tudo Electro from Venezuela. Español. Muy bueno. Muy bueno. Very good. From Venezuela. See, this live stream is continent to continent. You're a citizen of the world. Very good. Ben says Gnome is a lot of work. Tudo, it takes me at least 20 extensions. See, to where I want it. It's frustrating. Over half the extensions don't work. Yeah. Yeah. Although Pop! OS is not too bad on resources for whatever reason, Ben. But I remember back in 2011, I had to choose between Unity and then the new Gnome Shell Gnome 3 desktop. And for me, it was a no-brainer. I chose Unity. And I remember after Gnome came out back then, Linus Torvalds, the father of Linux, called Gnome an unholy mess. Now that's him saying it, not me. And I said, come on. I tried to defend it. It's not that bad. It's not unholy. There's your answer. Richard Addison, welcome. Mate and Plasma work best for you. Yeah, I like Plasma. It worked. I had it. I was running it in my other machine for a while. It seems okay. Hi, TJ Wolf. Yeah, Plasma looked great, but I've been so used to the simpler, older-looking distros that seem to work for me. But again, you can take any simple, older-looking distro and tweak it to make it modern-looking. So that's not an issue. So TJ Wolf, welcome. I know, but I think that if you give a good try to GNOME, you will see this. Yeah, the core GNOME desktop, if it's for advanced users, it's fine. It's just not for beginners. It's just not for beginners. A Windows user, a newbie, will take a look at that and say, Jesus, where do I go? You know, what the heck is this? It's just not you. Now, with all the extensions installed, if they work, it's fine. But it's the newbie thing that's just not for GNOME. So Richard, welcome. Yeah, try Plasma 5. It was worse on your desktop. You know, GNOME look, you know, it's more modern looking. It's not old looking like Ubuntu Mate. But, you know, because I do all these videos and try to push out as many videos as I can during the week, you know, the news and stuff like that, I don't want to spend a whole day trying to tweak my machine to make it more user-friendly for me. And I'm not a newbie anymore. But it is frustrating. Tudo says you're running Plasma work in a work laptop, but I feel like there is always something that doesn't work as well. Yeah. KDE software is a bit cumbersome. Even the latest one, really? Don't know, it's just you. Keep up the good videos. Thank you. Thank you very much. It was terrible with 8 gigs of RAM. Oh. Intel Core 2.4 gigahertz and Intel HD 3000. I was on KDE 5. Yeah, the previous, the KDE, the Ubuntu was the 17.04. I thought ran zippy. That and KDE Neon, I thought ran fine. You know, I thought it was fairly light on resources. It wasn't that bad at all. I was very surprised. So, you know, I don't know, maybe KDE would have been a better choice for Ubuntu because there's very little tweaking involved. It was that has been mentioned more than once. I don't know, guys. You think KDE should have been better or should have been picked by Ubuntu? Plasma 511 is a work in progress. Okay. Yeah, I haven't tested the latest Ubuntu 17.10. I might give it a shot. But the previous Plasma I thought was a big improvement. I was surprised, you know. And it seems like they have tweaked it so it's not as a resource. You know, Plasma Desktop's one of the most, used to be one of the more resource-heavy Linux operating systems, but it seems like that has changed. Of course, the Mate desktop, Linux Lite, Zorin OS Lite, Ubuntu, a little bit lighter on system resources. Yeah, KDE are the people who make Plasma. That is true. Checking my notes here, I don't think I missed anything as far as Ubuntu GNOME. No, I think I got it all. Okay. EC Junior, hello, welcome to the live stream. Everybody say hello to EC Junior. Cinnamon should have been the new default, but then the problem with Cinnamon, the applets, or not the applets, the tweaks, the spices. I think that's what they're called. Half of those don't seem to, or didn't work. Maybe that's changed. We have T. Ferreira. Hi from Canada. Hello, T. Everybody say hello to Canada, or to T from Canada. Awesome. We have 2 people from Canada. We have Rose and T. Wow. Cool. I'm glad I did this show at this time. Catch as many people as I can. T, I think this is your first time to the live stream, so welcome. Everybody say hello to T. So T, what do you use? Do you use both Windows and Linux? Do you have a favorite Linux operating system? Have you tried Linux and don't like it? Awesome, from Canada. Just checking my phone here real quick. Okay, so anyway. So in conclusion, I would say that I think we need to wait for the LTS to see where this goes, where Ubuntu Gnome goes, so to see how far they can take it. You know, it's new for Ubuntu, so we'll cut them some slack for now and be nice. T uses Mate. T is the smart one. Do I think Linux share is going to grow up in the future? Tudo, Linux is everywhere. It really is. It's in the space station. It's in, of course, you know, Android phones, tablets, in your car. I think refrigerators use it. It's not on the desktop, and I think the #1 problem is fragmentation. You know, if which Linux operating system do you choose to make it mass marketed for the masses? Which personally I'd go with the Mate desktop. Now System 76 in the States has done a pretty good job fairly mass marketing a Linux machine, but they're kind of pricey, and you're not going to see those machines in a Walmart or something like that. They're just kind of pricey. People aren't going to buy them. But do I think Linux share in terms of the desktop? Probably not. There are too many variables. The #1 complaint I have with Linux in general is multimedia apps. You never know when it's going to work. Multimedia applications is a hit and miss with Linux. Video drivers is a hit and miss. I'm not blaming anybody, but Linux in general, the Linux desktop is predictably unpredictable, and that's why I don't think it's growing the way it should. Now, Google, with the Chromebooks using Chrome OS, a form of Linux, I believe it's Gen 2, those are selling. School systems buy them. I thought about buying one, but I got enough toys that here I don't need another piece of machinery. But you know, I've been doing this over 7 years. What's Linux desktop market share? At one point last month it was 5%, but I guess that's not entirely accurate. I guess it's hovering around 2%. It is what it is. I mean, of course, I will continue to promote Linux as a Windows user, at least try. But you know, I don't know why Google, they got the resources to make a mass-marketed, fairly inexpensive Linux desktop. I mean, think about it. Why not make an Android mass-marketed Android desktop? What about all the Android phones? Hello, Google. Think about it. They haven't. I'm not sure why. Do you think this will always be like this? No, there's always room for change, Tudo. You know, I'm hopeful, but near future, I just don't see it. Sure, you think they're pricey, but I will still buy it if I was in the U.S. Not affordable. Yeah. The System 76 is selling enough to stay in business, and that's awesome. I would buy one and test it if I could. System 76, are you listening? Send me one, and I'll be happy to give you my fair review. I think it's not growing as much because there is not many people using it. Well, I think there's a lot. I think part of the problem is people who are used to Windows, which is a high percentage, they walk into their store, whatever that computer store is going to be, and they're not going to see Ubuntu desktop or Linux Mint desktop or Ubuntu Mate desktop as a choice because it's not there. Out of sight, out of mind. So the consumer has no clue. It's not their fault. You know, they want something they could look at, touch, feel, try. Is it going to work? If those machines were there and it worked, you know, developers like me won't spend money developing software for Linux if I don't get as much, as much sales. Yeah, I could call you Alex. Okay, Alex, sounds good. Yeah, I mean there is the monetary part of it, the business part of it, but you know, it's if the machines were there, you know, Walmart years ago tried to mass market sell a Linux-based machine. And I think it was at the local Walmart here. It was a desktop that you could buy off the shelf, walk into your Walmart, and I was like, cool. I think it was I think it's GOS. I could be wrong, but G rings a bell. I downloaded the software. It was horrible, and it gave Linux a bad name. And I could have seen a lot of Windows users saying, "What the bleep is this crap?" Can't blame them. Unfair, but you know, I always say you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. It's just not going to happen. And Linux blew it back then. I sound like Tux Digital. Linux everywhere, perhaps Microsoft moving and giving a lot to Linux lately. If Microsoft gives DirectX to Linux, then Linux will go bigger. I don't know. As far as the market share for Linux goes, it is what it is, as they say. Yeah, but it won't be there if there is not as many people to buy it. That's why people like System 76, it's important. Alex, I order stuff online, but I'm also the type, I like to walk into a store and, you know, play with it, touch it, feel it, almost like buying clothes. I would never buy clothes online. You know, computers, I suppose since I know something about computers, I could buy a computer online. It's no big deal. But most consumers, most mom and pop with kids, they want to walk into a store, try it, test it. Does it work? And if they see a Ubuntu Mate machine or Linux Mint or ABC Linux, curiosity will get to them. So, oh, what's this? Oh, this is $50 less than the Windows one. Oh, well, let me see if it works. I can get online. I can play some games. It's fast. I don't have to worry about malware. Oh, that's cool. It might sell, but it has to work out of the box the first time. Of course, any machine you pay for, if you buy a Windows machine or Mac machine, you want it to work out of the box the first time. But I don't know. Right now, I only see Google with the resources to create a truly mass-marketed machine at an affordable price. Matt Cubes is in the house. What's up, Matt? How are you? I think you've been on a live stream before, so hello, welcome. But as far as Linux machine for the masses, well, the last 10 years I've been hearing it's the year of the Linux desktop. Nah, not really. I mean, for us users like myself and some of you, yeah. But you know, Linux it's hovering at 2% Linux share. Yeah, but that is changing. Young folks don't think the same way. They look at reviews online, maybe not for clothes, but technology. I do reviews. You know, I can't because of the you know, this channel. I'm constrained because I don't have the budget to buy these machines like System 76 or whatever Linux machines are out there, to buy them and test them. You know, I don't have that kind of a budget, but maybe that's what's required to promote Linux. I don't know, but if I don't have the machine, there's only so much I can say. I can say give System 76 a try. They seem reliable. But if somebody says, "Well, Toss, have you tested it?" No, I have to be honest. Let's see here. Aaron Honeycutt. Hello, Aaron. I think you are a first-time person to the live stream. If you are, welcome. And if it is, everybody say hello to Aaron. Aaron, what do you use? Do you dual boot, Linux only? And if you have Linux, which Linux operating system do you use, if I may ask? And where are you from, if I may ask? But welcome to the live stream. Glad to see some newbies to the stream, as it were. Like I said, I try to do these at random times to connect with as many people around the world as I can. I know it's been disappointing for some of you. You keep missing these streams. So, Ubuntu Mate on Win 10 feels native. Rose, you don't believe the number is 2%. You believe it's more around 3 or 4%. People can't trust. Yeah, I don't know what the exact numbers are. It's I've seen it as high as 5%. I think that Chromebooks are selling well, so there's a high percentage of Chromebook users, Chrome OS. Number one, because they work, they're affordable, and they come with different range of prices. Sometimes they start as little as $150, as high as $1,000. So that it's nice to give people choices. Aaron says it is, and you're with Pop OS. I like Pop OS. On your Lemur 7, cool. Yeah, I tested Pop OS in my virtual machine with Gnome. It's zippy. Again, Pop OS from System 76, but yeah, I think I might keep Pop OS, at least in my virtual box. But again, that's a local company based out of Denver, System 76, that they're trying to mass market a machine based on Linux, and they've been doing it 10 years. So I guess there's your success story. Ben says unless Linux gets better gaming support beyond just Steam and all the Windows games get ported, it'll never be more than 2 to 4%. Yeah, gaming is critical to work out of the box. People ask me about Linux. Well, what about games? Games can work in Linux. It absolutely can. But if I have to pick one, Windows is the king of games. I don't see Linux taking that over anytime soon. Ghosty67 from the UK. Hello, Ghosty. Welcome. T says you use Kodi, but it is an older version. Any ideas to upgrade it? I don't use Kodi. Have you checked the Synaptic Package Manager, the repository? If not, check the website. T, see if it's there. I don't use Kodi. Oh, Aaron, you are in Denver at System 76. So what can you tell us about System 76? Cool. Speak of the devil. Awesome. Cheers for showing support for your mate Sudo. Yeah, Sudo Reboot. I guess ran into an issue with one of his... hello, Anna Rita. I guess Sudo Reboot ran into an issue with one of his live streams. I think he calls the stream Sudo and Friends. It got a community knockdown, or not a knockdown, a community strike. And from what I understand, it was a test stream of static. If what I understand is correct. Look, there's so much going on. MathCube says Windows sucks in different ways depending on the version. I'm going to get to that statement in a moment, MathCubes. The update process sucks. It takes too long. It's much faster in Linux. But Windows 10, not a pirated version of Windows 10, works fine for me. But there's my answer to that. But as far as Sudo Reboot, yeah, I guess he had a live stream, a community strike. He's not allowed to live stream. I guess he can start a new channel. He's not allowed to live. He can't live stream again until January, somebody said. My guess is what happened. This year has been a tough challenge for YouTube. And I try to be fair. There's two sides to a story, but there was threat of a boycott from advertisers because of the unfriendly content on YouTube. Just garbage, in my opinion. Advertisers didn't like that. They told YouTube, clean up your act, enforce your community. And those guidelines have been there with YouTube, by the way, for years. They just weren't enforced. Now they're being enforced. So they're being enforced, and they have a system that's not perfect. These Autobots, it sounds like Transformers. This bot system, it's picking on channels that don't deserve to be picked on, like Sudo Reboot, even mine. And it's affected channels like mine. I mean, revenue is down. There's a channel with 1 million subscribers, and that person had to ask for help on Patreon. It's crazy. But as far as Sudo Reboot goes, yeah, show him some love, and I hope he can weather the storm. MathCube says 7 is slow, 8 bad UI, Windows 10 is fine. I call it as I see it. Windows 7 was not slow for me. 8 had a bad UI. 8 was just, I don't know what Microsoft was thinking. Aaron, Honeycutt, if you have any questions that I can help with, let me know. Oh, okay. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, I mean, as far as System 76 goes, I think it's awesome that it's built here in the States and it's being mass marketed for consumers. So, Aaron, what do you think about Pop OS? Is that the right direction for that company using GNOME? Well, still rocking Windows 7, so Windows 7 is fine. Definitely a boost up from Vista. Ugh, Vista. Mamma mia. I think the UI Windows is a nightmare to me. The Windows 10 UI really? I think Windows 8 had a much worse UI. 10 sucks, issues with privacy, bad GUI, still those junk picture applications. Okay, all right, Math Cubes. I hear you. I'm with you on the privacy and all that stuff. But let me tell you something. Okay, not to defend Windows 10. Once you get on the web, and if you don't agree with me, that's cool. Once you get on the web, forget about privacy. As we say in New York, forget about it. Okay? Now, it's wrong. You should absolutely have privacy in the system. But once you get on the web, you can forget about privacy. I don't care what you use. Windows 10 is great OS, but it has a bad attitude to updates and the privacy. Here we go with the privacy. Ghosty, yes. The updates are archaic, the way the process goes. The privacy, I don't like it. But once you get on the web, does it matter? I think Tosh should drop Ubuntu Mate and make Pop for his main driver. No, I don't think so. The start menu is ECFL. ECFL too, you mean like awful? In Windows 10, really? That could be tweaked. Aaron, what are your thoughts from System 76? Adam, what are your thoughts about Windows 10, if I may ask? Oh, you are a KDE guy, but I very much see the value in GNOME, running it in your office machine. Aaron, do you use or have tried to use the GNOME extensions to make it more user-friendly, or you don't really care about that, just out of curiosity? For me to make GNOME my daily driver, if those extensions don't work, and they don't have to work, I'm not going to, and that's why I don't use it. I don't know what else to do but get a refund or swap it out for something different. Well, if you bought something that doesn't work, I would get a refund first and then think about it. Yes, Windows 10 UI is a nightmare to me. Really? Really, Anarita? Windows 10 UI? I thought it was a massive improvement, but okay. Yes, you can use Classic Shell on Windows 10. Yeah. You feel safer on Linux? Yeah, I do feel a little safer with Linux, but that may change. You know, it's been mentioned in the past, Linux security through obscurity. You know, ransomware hackers are not really attacking Linux in droves as they do Windows, but that could change. And no system is completely safe. Windows Vista wasn't all that bad. It was a historical failure. Yeah, Vista was bad when I first tried it. Wind blows. It's just bad with the new Cortana. I like Cortana. I liked her. She was the character in Halo. Her real name is Jen Taylor from Seattle, and she has a cool voice. But I don't use Cortana in Windows 10. That can be turned off, of course. Math Cubes use GNOME Shell. It's a favorite desktop. It is still broken. Well, the extensions are, yeah. Classic Shell rocks, yeah. Aaron, you have 4 extensions included. Okay, but did you try to install 40 extensions and only 4 worked? Half of those extensions right now don't work. Like the messaging system, you can't reply to a message after it goes away. Okay, well, no system is perfect. Ben is a truthfully displeased man. I don't know what to tell you, Ben. Keep it simple. Math Cubes, you agree Windows Vista wasn't bad? I think it was awful, god awful. How do you know your channel is affected? I have 70 subscribers. I haven't noticed anything weird yet. Oh, Alex, the AdSense revenue dropped like 90%. I mean, it just crashed. So that's, and it's not just me. like I said, there was a channel with a million subscribers, a user-friendly channel. I won't mention the name, and they had to go to Patreon to survive. So that's how I could tell. I thought maybe I did something wrong or said something wrong, but I haven't. It's it's a YouTube thing. They're trying to tweak the system so the family-friendly channels like mine will not, die and go away. But it's hard because this channel continues to lose money. But I do it for you guys, and I hope I can continue to do it. But that's how I can tell my channel has been affected. Yeah. Anyway, 7 is a repackaged and tweaked Vista. Richard, yes, yeah, I would say that's accurate. It was a massive improvement. I really liked Windows 7. I think you can get updates up through 2020, I think. You haven't. Oh, so they've included 4 extensions by default in Pop! OS. Got it. Which 4 are they, Aaron, if I may ask? Well, here it has been terrible. That's why I haven't noticed anything. Okay, well, good. Look, Alex, if your channel has not been affected, God bless. But mine has, and it really sucks. Yeah, it's kind of. It almost makes this not fun anymore. I've had to. I'm running older machines. I can't buy upgraded equipment. It's kind of a bummer for now. But anyway, I'm still here. Anna says you hate extensions because I like to have things out of the box. Available to me, but that is just me too. I like to have things out of the box like Ubuntu Mate. But I don't mind the tweaking as long as the extensions work. I don't mind doing the work, to be fair to Linux. But when you download, 10 extensions and half don't work, as we say in New York, forget about it. We don't hate you. No, we don't hate Anna. Everybody give some love to Anna. Come on. It is midnight there. Okay, Alex, thank you for stopping by. Tudo Electric, Alex, great to have you on the live stream the first time. And maybe I'll catch you on the next one. So thank you for stopping by and sharing some of your thoughts. Greatly appreciated. I'm just going back to I'm a Cowboy fan, Dallas Cowboys. Looks like they're going to win in rainy Washington. Okay, so back in 06, mainstream computing wasn't ready for Vista. I think part of the problem was I had an HP laptop, okay? It had a sticker. The sticker said Windows Vista ready or capable. Okay, that laptop had 512 megabytes of RAM. Now you tell me if you can run Vista, if you recall, on 512 megabytes of RAM. It was a freaking nightmare. I was lied to. As a consumer, I don't know if they did it on purpose, it was a mistake, a marketing error, but I felt deceived. Vista to me was a plain disaster, but that's my personal thoughts. Rose is almost totally Linux now. Cool, except for one hard drive. Okay. Extensions are useful because they allow for more customization than app. Yes, as long as the extensions work, MathCubes, they are more customizable or more options than applets, but half of them don't work. Half of the freaking extensions, I know Ghosty says, forget about it. It's not FAG, it's FUG, or FUH. Can't spell, FUHG. Make sure you spell it right. There'll be quiz tomorrow. What was I saying? MathCubes, yes. So as long as the extensions work, but they don't. All of the applets work. I think all of them work. So it's easier in Ubuntu Mate. You can change the behavior of that panel and more, yes. Anna says, I am no sports fan. Or maybe I should say I'm a fan whoever team wins. Oh, I've been a Cowboys fan since my high school days. Yeah, just one of those things. It's weird because I live nowhere near Dallas. I live near Pittsburgh. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not a Steeler fan. Nothing against the Steelers. If there are any Steelers fans, we're all human. It's all good. And I would love to see another Cowboy-Steelers Super Bowl. It's been a while. Aaron says we detail them on pop.system76, but 2 of them are the suspend button and always show workspaces. Got it. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron, I love Pop! OS. I wish I had the budget for the channel, from the channel, to buy a System 76 machine and give my honest opinion. I wish I could. That's one of my disappointments, is not doing more hard drive reviews. I've had Mac users say, please don't forget us Mac users. I just haven't been able to go out and buy Mac machines and test them. And honestly, those machines, if I could buy them, once I'm done with those, I would probably just donate them to a school system. But Math Cubes, you agree? It's on the extensions, yes. Yeah. Can you imagine downloading 10 extensions at random and they didn't work? How would you feel? How would a Windows user downloaded 10 Windows apps on Windows 10 and they didn't work? What would that Windows user say? Right? Vista Ready was a gimmick. Yeah, Vista needs 4 gigs of RAM. You could probably get away with 2 gigs, but 4 gigs sounds about right. Yeah, forget about it. That's how you spell it, Ghosty. Yeah, it's F-U-H, like pho. Instead of duh, get about it. Duh, get about it? Forget about it. The problem is we need both system and Gnome. We need both system and, well, you need the system and the extensions. Yeah. Rose, do not care about sports. Okay. I'm not a well, it's really raining there in Washington. I'm not a sports freak. I just, if the Cowboys play, I watch them. If they don't play, I don't watch football that much. Yeah, I'll use sports as an excuse to eat snacks. Did I miss anything here? Anyway. Okay. Thanks for the kind words. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. Yeah. If the day comes I can't afford to buy a System 76 machine, I'll let you know. And I'll be happy to give you my fair review. I would probably be wasting my time to ask System 76 to send me a machine so I can test. I'm not that big of a channel, but I am fair. Anyway, I hate to say I'm terribly disappointed with my Lemur purchase. I probably won't buy another laptop from System 76. I don't know, man. I mean, if it doesn't work, I guess that's fair. Get a refund. I would. Not knocking System 76, but nothing's perfect. You prefer movies for popcorn. I don't eat popcorn when I'm watching football, Rose. I may chomp on a granola bar, maybe a chocolate brownie. Yeah, brownies and football. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe some Skittles, potato chips. Maybe just a glass of, I can't say, I guess I could say a glass of wine as a snack. Sure, why not? But no, sometimes a glass of wine. The problem with them not working is they are hard-coded in the code, which version of GNOME shell. Yeah, I guess so. So once they quit working, you could add that new version to the code. We'll see what happens with the LTS, Math Cubes. Things might improve. It's just disappointing not to have those extensions work. You're saving your System 76 laptop, so maybe next year you will have the money. Okay, cool. Comrade Curio, hello, comrade. Are you Russian? Have you ever tried using a tiling Windows manager? I don't think so. Yeah. Ben, you should give System 76. Yeah, but try calling them first, Ben, if you have questions. I'm sure Aaron would agree. Give them a call first, see what they have to say. I mean, I would. Yeah. Oh, you did call. It did not work, but you requested a refund. Okay. I guess that's fair. Okay, snacks are fine as long as they are homemade. I don't make homemade wine. None of my snacks are homemade. But that's okay. It's tonight I was watching. What did I have tonight for a snack? I had a couple of cookies and Kroger's Southern sweetened iced tea, which tastes kind of bland. Actually, it is naturally flavored though, so I feel safer. Anyway, Anna says, Rose, I agree. Okay, good. But Yeah, we'll see what happens with Ubuntu with GNOME with the next release LTS to see if those extensions will be more, quote, standardized. But it's because of those extensions that I don't use. But I will keep Pop! OS. Works zippy in my virtual machine, and that's surprising. LTS won't matter since the extensions decide. But true, but the LTS would be for 5 years, so hopefully those will work for 5 years, I would think. I don't know. They are not homemade, but someone made them. Okay, all right. So when there is a new release with GNOME Shell, the dev of an extension needs to update it. That is true. Yeah. Or maybe, like Pop! OS, have the extensions pre-installed out of the box. Like the a good extension would be maybe, I'm trying to think now, Dash to Dock, Legacy, icons, topicons, applications menu, audio device driver. There's a few more, but those should be, if those were installed by default, they should work, right? I think so. But that would make it easier to accept a GNOME Shell desktop environment. It's just my opinion. But yeah, with distributions like Ubuntu Mate, you know, the applets are awesome. You know, I don't use all of them. I use the weather applet and a few others. It's great. Works out of the box. There's no tweaking involved. It's just there. And like I said, the only application, the only app that did not work in Ubuntu Mate was the Cheese webcam app. But you know, I downloaded GUVC View and it works fine. And that's what it comes down to. Keeping it simple. Anna says, you only use LTS distributions because I do not have to install the system every couple of months. Okay. No time for that, so the simplified things are... Yeah, LTSs are generally 3 years or more support, so that makes it a lot easier. Since this is my backup system here, I don't mind installing... you know, 9-month releases, to me, they're like test releases. I don't mind because this is my backup system, so I'm cool with that. I'm not sure if I would use a non-LTS as a daily driver. Have I plans to try Ubuntu 17.10? I might. Clive Joe, welcome to the stream, Clive Joe. Yeah, I have no problem. This machine here, I can't, because it only has 4 gigs of RAM, and I should upgrade the RAM. Because it only has 4 gigs, I can't do live streams and do a virtual machine at the same time. The machine freezes. No fault of the machine. It came pre-installed with just 4 gigs. It's fine the way it is now, but yeah, I might give it a try. You just sent System 76 a ticket for a refund. You know what? That's the good mark. Let me know how the refund process works, because that is the good mark of quality of customer service for a company. How do they treat refunds? Are they quick? Are they customer friendly in spite of the refund? There's a good test, Aaron, for a company, for any company. How do they treat customers with the refund? So what is your main web browser? Well, Rose, yeah, I normally I'll use probably Firefox, Chrome, sometimes Opera because of the built-in VPN. But Firefox is fine. I like Brave. Like I says, I web browser hop because it's easier than distro hopping. And it's safer. I'm not reinstalling the systems all the time. Curated rolling is probably the best model. Solus says that may be the new distro of the year, Solus. There's a lot of talk of Solus on YouTube. I've tested it. It seems fine, yeah. One of the best? I would say so, from what other testers are saying on YouTube, sure. KDE is a big no for me because it just got too overwhelmed for me, plus too much settings and customizations. You like simple things like Mate. Okay, fair enough. Let me know. You plan to use the money to get Alienware a laptop. Meet your needs since you game. Okay. Yeah, let us know how the process works for an American Linux company as far as refunds go. It's a shame it didn't work out, but that could. Who uses System 76 exclusively? Brian Lunduke, right? Yeah, I believe he's System 76 sponsors his channel. He seems happy with System 76. I'm sure it's a good product for most people. Firefox Focus, I believe that's for Android. Anna, I have not tried it, no. But I thought I saw that in the Google Play Store, I do believe. I think. Okay, Ben, yeah, let us know. You know, and if they treat you well, I think they will. I think we should give System 76 a shout out on customer service. Why not? I think that's fair. I mean, if it was me, I would. I once had an issue with the Xbox game download. For some reason, it didn't work. It says it was compatible. It didn't work. I called it in. I got a refund, and yeah, so preparing to install it. Okay. Rose, you're using WaterFox. How do you like WaterFox? So Anna, it is for Android. Okay, no, I don't have it on my HTC phone, but I might give it a shot. Just checking my messages here. You know, I often wonder just how secure smartphones are. You know, since we do a lot of things on a smartphone. I will never do banking on a smartphone. You know, personal stuff like that, I don't feel safe. Rose, you prefer Brave. Firefox Special on privacy. Yeah, Brave is okay. I like Brave. Ghosty, you like? Yeah, I have used Pale Moon is based on Firefox. Ghosty, yeah. Pale Moon's okay. Pale Moon, not as zippy as I would like to be, but it does work. It has a cool default page. The start page looks cool, if I recall. Yeah, Pale Moon's okay. WaterFox, I believe, is more prone, or not prone, but more customized for privacy. No telemetry whatsoever, as far as I've seen, and noticeably faster than Firefox, Anna. So yeah, I would definitely try WaterFox. They specialize in privacy, and they forego the use of telemetry. So check it out. With the issues on the Mint website and malware on their eyes, I don't trust Mint so much. Clive, fair enough, but that, look, they made a mistake. They were using a WordPress plugin or something. I can't remember. I would trust them now. I would now, yeah. I mean, their products are fine. They have a good following. They get a lot of donations. It's unfortunate what happened. No one's perfect, but if you were to ask me, do I trust them? Yeah, I do now. And always check the MD5. Always check the ISO if it's corrupted. You know, it seems to me like a high percentage of users, they'll complain about Linux, and then I ask them, have you checked the MD5? And they'll say, what's that? You heard that the Brave browser add their own add-ons, but I haven't tried it yet. I think I've heard about that, but I don't have a problem using it. Yeah, try WaterFox. Richard, you find Brave promising? I like it. Firefox 57, they really made the add-ons less powerful. They can no longer change the UI or add functionality. I try to limit the add-ons on any web browser because it tends to slow it down, and then there's the issue of privacy. I have a few add-ons. The reader view, when I do the news, I like to have it less cluttered. I do have an ad blocker, but I do have the ad blocker shut off on YouTube to support other YouTubers. But I don't have too many add-ons. It tends to slow it down, and it might break the system too. Linux Smith were honest, and they cleaned their act by solving the issue. I think so. Yeah, I have no problem downloading from there. The hash was changed to match. Yeah, always check the download. In fact, some of their websites, Even Linux now, it's like it's right there. It's not hidden. You know, they'll say check the download. If that code, that hash doesn't match, don't install it. Just don't. Firefox itself is really bombing these days. You've lost the love for it. They use it since '04. The latest one seems to work okay. I don't have a problem. Like I said, I don't use it as often as I used to. Chrome is faster. Opera, of course, I mentioned Brave and Waterfox. But Firefox, I believe, at least for Linux, has gotten a little bit faster. You know. Math Cubes, you like the tab groups. Okay. Yeah, Rocco from Big Daddy Linux had specific add-ons that he could not live without. I forget what they were. But like I said, with add-ons in the web browser, I try to limit the add-ons. You know, they may break the system, slow it down. They may not work. But I don't have a lot of add-ons. I usually, probably the #1 add-on I use is the reader view on the web pages to declutter that page. It makes it a lot easier to read it, and it scrolls faster, runs faster. Let's see, Clive, you might be a biased person for the Ubuntu. Ubuntu with KDE Plasma looks fine. Math Cubes, you hate Opera now. They really weakened they weakened it, really? How do you mean? I haven't noticed anything weakened. You mean like features? Privacy? I'll never use Chrome though, so if a toss up between the two would still be Firefox. Okay, well I use Chromium too. And only 4 add-ons. Maybe that's all I have is about 4. Opera is owned by a Chinese company, so I really don't like it like that. Are we going back to the privacy issue again? I don't know. I mean, Opera does have a built-in VPN, for what it's worth, a free one. Take out all the functionality and settings. Okay. Like I said, most of the browsers, as long as I can install 2 or 3 add-ons that I need, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I really, really am, you know. Check my lighting here. But yeah, I don't really have a favorite web browser. Just one of those weird things. But, you know, web browser hopping is a lot easier than distro hopping, because I'm not changing the whole damn system. Anyway, let's see. Brave, Chromium, Firefox, Google Chrome, Opera. Yeah. VPN, and where does that data go to? Where are the servers? I think you have a choice in the drop-down rows, and I agree. Where is the data going to? I don't know. And if they say it's going nowhere, how do you check it? How do you prove it? I need to do another podcast with Quids Up. He's more focused on the security on the web. He might have a better answer. Privacy on the internet. That is an oxymoron, comparing 2 unlike things. Internet and privacy. Haha. Yeah. Sub-Zero. Welcome. I think this is your first time to a live stream. If it is, welcome. And where are you from? You use Chrome because it works. Yeah, Chrome, as long as I can recall, Chrome in both Linux and Windows, I don't ever recall having an issue. You know, add-ons, playing multimedia, it just works. VPN doesn't equal privacy. Well, it should, but yeah. China, yeah. Well, you know, virtual private network. You would think private is privacy, but once again, how do you prove it? Private or not private? How do you know, really? And I only have web browser, but after today, maybe I will have to thanks to Total. Okay. Hey, it's safe. I think they're safe. So why not give it a try? Those free ones could sell your data. I would rather be the customer and then pay, then be the customer pay, then be the product. Okay. Let me see here. Take a look at Brave here real quick. Don't use Netflix or other streaming services beyond YouTube. Sometimes Twitch. Live with Chromium. Okay. Yeah, Brave here. I like it. It's fast. I don't know what happened here. The drop down menu, it's in black here at the title bar. It's kind of weird. Don't know what happened there. But I like the default start page in Brave. Yeah, Brave is pretty cool. Check it out. Let's see. Do I own the VPN? No, I do not. How do you like Pale Moon? I don't have Pale Moon installed. I'll see. I forgot to install another web browser, Rose. Pale Moon, I like the default start page. Didn't seem to run as fast as what I would like, Rose, but it seems okay. Yeah, VPN, virtually private network, means almost private. Somebody still knows. Yeah, I would have to agree. Pale Moon. But yeah, everything is virtual, right? I don't know where Pale Moon is based out of. But yeah, it's okay. I've tested it. I wish Brave was more specific about what it blocks. I don't know. Maybe check the forum, Aaron, or send him an email. Ask him. I don't know. Yeah, Pale Moon's okay. I've messed with this before. It's not bad. Yeah, they got a nice looking start page with a bunch of shortcuts, maybe too many shortcuts. Of course, this can be customized. But yeah, Pale Moon is perfectly fine. Maybe I got to head home and get coffee. Okay, let's see here. I haven't heard anything about Safari. I know that people were using it to download. Safari, I believe, has been discontinued for Windows, if I am not mistaken. I believe Safari is still around for Apple products, if I am not mistaken. But Safari in the past, when I tested it, seemed pretty fast. That's been a few years, but it wasn't bad, if I recall correctly. Yeah. Ultimately, it's up to you to figure out what's the fastest web browser. Brave, as in the listing the name of the trackers. Okay. Anna, you like your privacy, but nothing is 100%. Yeah, nothing is 100% secure. So why stress when you have no control? I totally agree. If you want privacy, don't get on the web. I'm not trying to be funny. That's just the reality of it. You can be a little safer browsing on the web. Like, I feel a little safer in Linux. You can increase the odds, the percentage in your favor, I think. But to be completely secure or private. Aaron, yay, mobile YouTube, yay. Rose, you're going to watch Oh, Rose, you like Star Trek Discovery? Okay, I guess it ain't bad. Yeah, I guess it's and they announced they are going to do a second season. So Rose, yeah, if you got to go, by all means, watch Star Trek Discovery. Cool, awesome. It looks great. Yeah, they put a lot of time into it. Some of the stories, well, I won't go there, but cool. Star Trek Discovery, the new Star Trek. I don't watch that much TV as much as I used to. I watch the Blacklist, History Channel, some football stuff on YouTube, National Geographic, random things, stuff like that. But usually I'll catch up stuff on YouTube. Security and privacy are not synonyms. Are not cinnamon. Yeah, they're not cinnamons. Are not synonym. That is true. I agree. Check your email. I will, Aaron, when I'm done with the stream. Thank you. Ben, you want more Star Wars? You can't get into Star Trek. The last Star Wars, I didn't like it. I liked Rogue One was okay. The other new one, I didn't. It was predictable. It was a waste of my money. But Anna, you like Outlander? Outlander. What is Outlander? That's a car, the Mitsubishi Outlander. Anyway, Ben. So yeah, let me know how things work out in terms of the customer service process for System 76. That's too bad, but sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. Panoptlic, that F dot or panoptlic, click. What is that? Sounds familiar. The Last Jedi is coming out in 2 months. I might go see The Last Jedi. Outlander is a TV show. Ah, okay. All right, got it. Yeah, the only show I try to catch on a weekly basis is The Blacklist. It is intelligently written, and it's a cool show with James Spader. Forgot tonight the continuation of the World Series. I might watch it. But yeah, I don't watch as much TV as I used to. Like I said, I'll catch a lot of stuff on the web, streaming on YouTube and stuff like that. Anyway, it is 8 o'clock. This was fun. We'll do it again maybe next week. Maybe I'll post a schedule or something so you guys will know. It seems like, at least for you people in different time zones, between 7 p.m. Sunday night seems to be the sweet spot. And Ancient Alien, yes, I used to watch that. I've seen most of the shows. Yes, I do like Ancient Aliens. It makes you think at least. It's a URL to project to run the EFF. Okay, I'll have to check it out, Clive. You can't post. Okay, I'll look it up. It's no big deal. Anyway, that's all I have for this one. Thank you, Anna. So again, if you missed anything, those of you who are going to watch this later, welcome to the replay. These videos stay on YouTube, and for the Patreon supporters, I will transcode this into an audio download so you can play it in your iPod or iPhone, whatever you use, and listen to it on the go as a thank you for supporting the channel. Other than that, it's pretty much what you see here is what you will hear for the audio download, somewhat edited to more streamline it, to take out a lot of the pauses so it's easier to listen to on the road or if you're jogging or whatever. But yeah, thank you all the newbie chatters here for this live stream. This was super cool. Hope to do it again. And you guys know how to reach me. And if anything comes up that we missed, talking about Ubuntu Gnome, Ubuntu Mate, System 76, you know, ad blockers, YouTube Adpocalypse, supporting YouTubers and all that stuff, let me know. But I think for this one, I am going to sign off. So thank you, all of you, for stopping by. And enjoy your technology, as always, but please don't text and drive, so be safe. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. So have a good evening. Thank you.